What's the lamest way that you injured yourself badly? I refused to take off a band-aid when I was around 6 years old. It got infected and they almost had to amputate my leg. I broke my arm just riding my bike on flat ground. I saw a shiny rock and turned my head to look at it and fell over. Threw my back out taking a shit. One semi-loud sneeze. Popped a vessel in my nose. Had to go to the hospital because it bled like a faucet. Dropped a chair on my face. Still got the scar 20 years later. I stepped off a curb coming out of a movie theater and rolled my ankle. I ended up fracturing a bone in my foot that required surgery. I was on crutches for about 6 months. I tore a muscle in my shoulder blade masturbating. Edit. Why is this my most top-rated comment? Not me, but one of my teachers in high school tripped on his sword and stabbed his leg. Had to go to the ER. Oh. I have too. I broke my hand attempting to punch my brother. Threw a weak fist, he blocked with his arm, and I broke the bone on the side of my right hand. I broke my clavicle after riding my bike into my dog in our driveway and flipping over the handlebars. Coming from a lactose-intolerant person, eating copious amounts of dairy to the point where I shit my organs out, then pass out on the bathroom floor, then subsequently wake up with a small piece of my forehead missing. I broke my nose while opening the fridge. I was sleepy and stood too close. That's when I stopped the habit of night snacking. Was trying to drive a nail vertically into a pencil, ended up driving it into my hand instead. Not me, but a friend got drunk and punched a brick wall full force to prove how tough he was. The resulting damage to his hand left him permanently unable to fully close it. At the time he was very drunk and preaching about how harmful weed is because it destroys your body. One time I had a thought process that didn't end logically. I was horny, and I thought, vaginas are good because they are warm. Fire is warm. A big fire is too warm. A little fire is little warm. I have a small lighter, I will put that to my penis. I burned my penis by climbing a tree and just standing there and somehow slip and break my legs. Edit. It had been raining and I was 7. I have a giant scar on my ankle from shaving my legs drunk. The amount of times I kicked myself in the balls while trying to remove my socks is way too high. Threw my back out sneezing. Told my boss coworkers I was helping my mom move something heavy because it was so embarrassingly lame. Stepping from one level surface to another while gardening. Rolled my ankle so hard that horrible sensation of wrongness alone almost made me throw up. Had to crawl into the house. Whole foot and calf turned purple and I was on crutches, no driving for months. I tried to pee off the side of a hot tub because I was jealous that my brother and his friends could do it. I'm female. I slipped and cracked open my chin on concrete. I got a paper cut on my foot by walking past an open book. I've dislocated my shoulder multiple times high-fiving. And twice getting out of bed. I thought the glowing sand under the disposable barbecue would be cool to touch, it was not cool in the slightest. When I was little I lived with my mom in a ranch house, and the whole house had this long and narrow hallway that ran through it. I thought it would be funny to run straight at my mom and parkour off the wall to pass her in the hallway at a high speed. In reality my foot slipped off the wall, I tripped over her foot and went straight down into my left hand as I caught my fall awkwardly. Broke my wrist in 2 places and broke 3 fingers lol. Not me and not sure if this counts, but my cousin broke his finger on a bouncy castle. I was headed to the laundry room in my apartment building, and decided to walk down the icy steps in flip-flops. I slipped, landed all 350 pounds of my then self on the edge of a step just above my left butt cheek. This resulted in a fractured pelvis and nerve damage, both of which still bother me from time to time 16 years later. I fainted and shattered my foot. By just getting out of bed. Seriously, got up and went to the bathroom, felt that, wah wah wah, feeling, grabbed a bottle of water, then crumpled, unconscious, in front of my fridge in my own apartment. I'd just moved in, didn't even have furniture and had been sleeping on a bedroll till I could pick up my stuff. I broke 3 metatarsals clean through, 2 chip fractures. Resulted in 2 plates and 12 screws. Didn't walk for almost 6 months. Edit. Word. Burnt the tip of my dick with a dab nail. Tried to impress a girl I had a crush on in 4th grade. Told her I can jump over her, jumped, hit my head on a door frame, had a concussion the next day. Got knocked over by a 5-year-old, hitting my head on a table and breaking my wrist in the process. I wish I was joking. Edit. Wow, I'm reading some of your stories and feeling less alone. Thanks for sharing. I was 8 years old when I slipped in the bathroom and broke my front tooth on Christmas Day. It was already crooked to start with, but it snapped of about half of my tooth, so we had to find a dentist who was willing to check that I hadn't damaged the nerves of it. The good thing was it did it so that we met Dr. Anderson, real name, in California, who is an awesome guy. 10 out of 10 would recommend because he's very chill with kids. Don't know if he has retired yet or not though. I cut off a pimple on my face with a dirty knife. I ended up getting infected and the entire right side of my face bloated up with pus. Gradually, I'm talking I could barely see through my right eye. It was years ago, but they cut something in my nose then drained the pus out my face. Sliced my hand open trying to trim my toenails with tiny scissors on vacation. Many years ago, married 24 years now, my husband and I were goofing around play fighting. He's a second-degree black belt, I'm a second-degree dumbass. I lunge forward while flinging my foot and kick him in the bum. Broke my ankle. He was unscathed. We still laugh about it today. I stepped down off a truck bed and rolled my ankle. Broke 3 bones, tore ligaments, tendons, and 1 muscle. Out of work for 6 weeks. Fell down 1 flight of stairs like going down a slide, fractured my tailbone. Thought it was just a really bad bruise and walked it off for 1 month before I thought of getting an X-ray. Even did foot drill before I found out. Also chased after the ex-president when he was jogging at a beach, fell and scrapped my knees. Got his attention, got up and said hi. I punched my headboard. Direct hit. Beautiful technique. Alignment of the wrist was pristine and contact was make on the first 2 knuckles. Still broke. Shaving my legs without paying attention. I ended up shaving off the skin on the back of my ankle. Sad face. In the dark I ran into a clothesline, fell backwards onto the ground, and had a concussion. Taking out the trash. Slipped on some ice and blew my knee out. Fell on a plastic bucket. It shattered and went through my cheek. On the bright side I got a cool Joker scar from it. I was on holiday in France when I was about 10 and we were in a patisserie and the oven was right next to where you paid for your things. I said to my mum, "Do you reckon that's hot?" She said, "Touch it and find out." So I stuck my hand flat on the surface and it stuck to the oven, it was so hot. I then ripped it away and left a layer of skin on the side of the oven that started to crisp up and burn and it stunk. So yeah, the next 10 days of the trip was fun having to have a burn glove on. A. I should have known a fucking oven that is glowing would be hot. B. Found out my mum thinks I'm not as smart as she thought. I bumped my head into another child while on a trampoline. She was fine but I had to get stitches. I was like 10 or 11 maybe. Was dropping a ceiling in an apartment complex for HVAC ductwork. I had safety glasses on that had a mild tint. I couldn't see well with them on for 1 nail I had to drive. It was new construction so there was no lights in the building. Took the glasses off and the second swing of the hammer sent the nail straight into my right eye. What a stupid way to lose an eye. Taking pizza rolls out of the oven. I touched the heating element and gave myself a second-degree burn on my thumb. Playing TIG, or tag if you're American, and ran into a metal pole. Split my head open, blood everywhere and required multiple stitches. Now I have a scar on my forehead. Kinda looks like an exclamation mark 'cause it leads to a mole at the bottom. Tripped over a pillow, the door was right open though so I ended up cutting half of my ear in half. When I was like 6 I was holding open one of those dressers where it's basically just a box with a open-able top on it. Well, the top was very heavy. As I was choosing my shirt for the day my hand slipped and it like destroyed my left middle and ring finger's nails. There's also the story of how I got my leg ran over by a car because I decided not to listen to my mom when I was like 4 years old. But that's a story for another time. I sprained my jaw, yes that's apparently possible, by going down on a girl, hurt to eat anything for a month. I injured my eye quite badly putting safety glasses on too quickly, by jamming the arm into my eye.